We don't have to do it all today, just one project at a time.
G'day guys, welcome back to One Project at a Time. Let's have a look at what we got in the shed today. Okay, so this is my wife's 2015 Toyota RAV4. Today we're going to give it a general service and a bit of maintenance. So I'll go through a little bit of the steps of what's involved. I'm sure there's some people out there that have never serviced a car before, and if this gives you a bit of an idea of what's involved in servicing your own vehicle, then that's definitely a win. So yeah, I've got all the parts laid out. I'll show you what we've got for this job. So these are all products from Super Cheap Auto, and we have some oil, 5W30 Castrol Magnatec, pretty good brand, Castrol, here in Australia anyway. Ryco oil filter, always use Ryco filters. They're one of the best quality filters you can get in Australia. I've got a K&N because it was the only one I could get. Cabin air filter. We've also got our Ryco air filter. So I'll be changing the air filter, the cabin filter, the oil and oil filter. And something you should always do when changing your oil is a new drain plug washer. So if you can look at that washer. Whoa, Jesus. This bloke's, come on mate. Been doing this long. So if you look at that zoom in on that, see that washer is a crush type. You can see that sort of how that washer is. That'll actually crush. They're a one-use washer. So a lot of people do try and reuse the plug that they've got, and they'll actually end up with an oil leak. You don't have to replace the plug as such, but you should always replace your washer. But honestly, the plug, I think it was like $1. So for $1, new plug while you're in there. Yeah. So, and of course, also the other thing I got just down there, bunch of Super Cheap Auto degreaser, because look, at the end of the day, if you're doing any sort of work on a car, you should have plenty of degreaser on hand at all times. Now, anyway, let's crack on and we'll get into it. All right. First things first, gloves. I never used to wear gloves when I was doing work on cars because I didn't like them. But I have started to because there's a lot of oils and solvents that you use when you're working on cars and they're not good for your skin. That's not the main reason I use them. I wear gloves now because I found that it's a hell of a lot easier to clean your hands after using gloves instead of them being all greasy and gross. So why not? So yeah, first step, get some mechanic gloves on. I use these black ones because they're a little bit stronger than the don't like the surgical gloves. Those things you break. These have got a bit more strength to them, and they're designed for working on cars and stuff like that. Another thing, always have some rags around handy. You never know you're going to make a mess. So one of the first things I always like to do when I'm changing the oil, take the engine oil cap out. Apparently this one's stuck. There we go. Just a bit tight. Oil cap off. Have a look at it. Give it a sniff. Look, you're probably going to think I'm weirdo for sniffing the oil, but you can sort of tell when it's burnt. Your oil will have a burnt smell. This smells all right. It's good. This car's in really good condition, so I'm not overly concerned. Another thing to do, this is just to make your life easy. These little plastic covers they got on, I usually give it a little wipe down. It's a bit dusty. Give it a quick wipe over, and then take the cover off. It just pops off like that. Look on the reverse side, a few little lugs that they literally just pop down on the engine. Get that out of your way. Put it over there somewhere so you forget about it when you put the car back together, and then don't put it back on. If you're me, anyway. Another thing I always do when I'm changing oil, just quickly check your dipstick. I mean, you're going to change the oil anyway, but might as well just see what it's like. Plenty of oil, you know it's full. That'll wipe off. Look, I'm sure you know. If you're watching this, you might not know. So if you don't know, to check the oil on any car, you'll have a dipstick somewhere on the engine. It should say on it somewhere, I don't know if you can read that there, it should say engine oil on the actual dipstick. And it's a case of pulling it out with the engine off. You can do it when it's running, better when it's off. Engine off, pull your dipstick out, and there's marks on the dipstick. So in this case, there's 2 dots. I'm not sure if you can see in there. There's a dot there and a dot there. And those two dots, your oil needs to be in between those dots at all times. If it's close to this bottom one, your oil is low. If it's up here, it's good. So when you check your oil, dip it, you wipe off any oil that's on there, and dip it again. Put it back in the little dipstick housing thing, slide it down all the way, pull it back out, and then look at it. So now if you can see that oil there is right up to that top dot. That's perfect. Nothing wrong with this oil. It's full. It does need to service because of kilometers, but it's not like. Then you wipe it off, and you can check it again if you need to. When you first check it, make sure you wipe it off before you check it. Always wipe it, dip it again. But that's good. So, if you wanted to know, that's just a little thing. That's how you can check your oil. For all those people out there that might have never done it, have a go. It's good to get to know your car. I'm a big believer that all young males and females, doesn't matter what you are, all the young people out there on there, we have P plates here in Australia, L plates. I'm sure in other countries they have some sort of learners thing. Anyway, when you first get your car, your first time driving, this is the sort of thing that I think everybody should learn. How to change tires, how to check your oil, how to check your fluids in your vehicle, all your basic safety stuff. It's not taught when you get your license. You're taught how to drive and how to control and how to handle the vehicle, which of course is important. But you should also be taught how to maintain your vehicle, basic maintenance. I'm not saying you should be able to rebuild your engine or anything like that, of course not. But you should be able to change a bulb, change a tire, check your oil, check your coolant, check your air filters, basic little things like that. If you don't know how to change it or you don't want to drop your oil yourself, whatever, that's cool. Don't have to, but you can at least check and go, oh, I need an oil change, or I'm low on oil, and then you can take it to a mechanic and say to them, hey, I'm low on oil. Can you top my oil up? And then that way you're not paying for them to diagnose something that you can work out yourself. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on. So basically, as I said, remove the oil cap. We remove the cover just to give us a bit more access, a bit more light to be able to see into the engine bay as well, because it's quite dark down there. On this car, I need to jack up the front of the vehicle because the oil filter and the drain plug on every car is going to be underneath. But this one, the oil filter, you also access from underneath. Some cars you can access the oil filter from the top. This one's underneath. So I need to do that. Before I jack the car up, because we're doing a service anyway, one of the things I want to do as well while I'm in here is check my fluids. And when I say fluids, I mean all my other fluids. Brake fluid, coolant, oil level, windscreen washer fluid. Sounds trivial, but windscreen washer fluid is pretty important as well. You don't want to be stuck behind something, throws a bunch of mud and dirt up on your car and you can't wash your windscreen. So you should always check it. So that's simple. We go around, we're going to have a look. The other thing I'm doing when I do, like anyone should do if you're servicing a vehicle, you're not just changing the oil, you also should be just looking at the engine and the components as well. Just see if you can see anything as well while you're in there. Just have a check of your hoses. Make sure your hoses look good. All your electrical fittings are all on and tight. This car has a fan belt down here that I can see right here, and I'll check the belt while I'm in here. That feels nice and tight, and from where I can see here, you just can't see. It's not really easy to see down in the bowels of the engine, but from what I can see, this belt looks pretty good. So the belt's in good condition. I've got an engine mount here. That's another thing you can check. I can't see any cracking or anything on that engine mount. The engine itself overall looks nice and clean. That's another thing you should always check. And again, like I said, electrical fittings, hoses, just have a look around. You don't have to be aggressive. Just look. You're just looking if there's any damage to anything. Anything looks out of the ordinary. I know this car pretty well. It's my wife's car. So I know everything and it's in pretty good shape. But that's just the things you should be checking. Just going around, check your plugs, check just visual look at the wiring and stuff like that. You don't have to be an expert. You're not looking for anything in particular. Just if it looks out of the ordinary. You look at a hose and go, oh, that's got a bit of a crack in it. That's something you know that's not right. Cool. So windscreen washer fluid. With these Toyotas, they're pretty handy. They've got a little dipstick in them. So not all cars will have that, but if you do, use your little dipstick. That'll tell you that you've got water in there. So this one, yep, we've got plenty of water in our windscreen washer fluid. Not a problem at all. Close that back up. Give it a wipe down with my rag. Again, you don't have to get that pedantic. I just like things clean. So washer fluid. Yeah, if it was low, you don't have to put anything special in there. It's just water. Some people put an additive in with it, with like a bug off or bug remover stuff. You can put that in there if you want. Coming from someone who has a background in automotive detailing, I will tell you, be very careful what you put in your windscreen washer bottle, because some of the stuff that you add will actually, when you squirt it on your windscreen and stuff, that's all good for glass, but it sits on your paint and it can corrode and destroy your paint. You've probably seen people's wipers, like wiper arms that are normally black, and you'll see they're all sort of faded and the paint's coming off it. That's usually caused by the chemicals that they're putting in the windscreen washer fluid. So just remember that. It's just something to be careful of. Now, coolant is another thing we're going to check. With this car, so on the modern cars, this is obviously a newer vehicle. They have a radiator, but they don't have a cap on the radiator anymore on the newer vehicles. What they have is an expansion tank up here, which is this here, and the actual cap is on that. Now, because this is a pressurized system, if this car is hot and been driving around, do not open that, whatever you do. Because if you open this when the car is pressurized and it's hot, that will shoot through the bonnet. And I've seen it, and it will cause third-degree burns from the coolant bursting out of it because it is under such pressure. So never check your coolant while your car's hot, always when it's cool. See that? That was still a little bit of that. That car has been from the end of the driveway to up here. That's all it's done. And that had pressure in it. So always check it when it's cool. And of course, being a radiator, coolant pressure, it's got this is like a little valve. That's what locks the pressure in. Some modern cars, I'm not sure about this one, but some modern cars, they actually have a lockout on the radiator cap now, and you can't open the cap physically if it's under pressure. But yeah, all I'm doing with this, when I take the cap off, we're just going to look down inside. The coolant itself looks nice and clean. This car uses a red coolant, so it should be a nice bright red. If it's a real dark red or browny color, that's not good. So you probably need your coolant changed. This is nice and bright and red. Some cars will have green, and same, should be a nice bright green, not a dark yucky green. Or also, it should not be just water. If you're looking at a car, this is the same as when you go to buy a car. If you're going to buy a car and you're inspecting the vehicle and getting an idea of what condition it's in and you're going to buy it, if you open your radiator cap or you look at the overflow or whatever you need to do to check the coolant and it's just water, I would not be buying it. Cars should not run on pure water alone. They can in an emergency. If you bust a radiator hose, you fix the hose, you're nowhere near an auto parts store, you can fill your car up with just straight water and run it like that. It'll be fine for a couple of days if that's what it takes to get to a mechanic or whatever you need to do. Always run coolant. You should never run straight water. Water will rust out the internals of your engine. So yeah, that one all looks good. Put our cap back on, make sure it's tight, and that's the basics of checking the top of that. And then the next thing with this, just for the coolant level. So with this car, this has actually got there's just on the side of it here, there's a line, and it's got full or low. And basically above the line, full, below the line, low. This, it's above the line, it's full. Not a problem at all. So coolant, fine. Another thing to check while we're on here, we're just going to stick our head over this battery. I know for a fact this battery is good because I had to change it about 6 months ago. But anyway, there's most batteries will have a little gauge on top. If it's a bit dusty, wipe it off, look down into it, and it's green. So in this case, green means battery's okay. If it was red, your battery needs to be replaced. And if it's white, your battery needs to be recharged. Now, 9 times out of 10, your batteries in a modern vehicle, your battery shouldn't just lose charge. It may drop a cell. If it drops a cell and it dies, you need a new battery. So batteries these days are really, really good. You'll get a good 3-4 years out of them. During winter is a good time to check them because when it gets cold, it can affect them more. But just keep an eye on that little dot. That's about all you need to do on your battery. So this battery's fine. Again, I'm wiping a bit of dust off. That's just me being a bit OCD. Yeah, so coolant's good. Our washer fluid's good. The oil, we checked, it's good. We're going to drop that in a minute. Battery's good. Another thing to check is our brake fluid. So in this vehicle, the brake fluid reservoir is just up here, right up the back. Most cars, it's going to be up here. Obviously, if you're in America, it's going to be the other side. But in Australia, we're on this side. Now, the thing with the brake fluid check is don't open your cap unless you really, really absolutely have to, because these are also like a pressurized system. If you introduce air, that can affect your braking. It's quite dangerous. So the easiest thing with these, they've got a little gauge on the side like the coolant, max, minimum. This one's up to the max line. It's good. That's all you need to do to check your brake fluid. You don't need to dipstick. They don't need to do anything else. Just have a look at that line. As long as your line's right, you're good to go. Excuse me. Now, so that's pretty much the main things. Another thing I do like to check, you don't have to, it's up to you, is just a fuse box. I'll pull my fuse box lid off, have a little bit of a look. Yep, everything looks good in there. I'm not saying you have to pull your fuse out or anything like that. I just use a general look over. It all looks nice and clean, no corrosion, no rust. That's what you're looking for. Everything looks nice and clean and sealed in there. Not a problem at all. This car's got two, so there's also another fuse box over here. You'll find on modern cars you're going to have a lot of fuses. There's a lot of electrical systems. Same again. Yep. Nothing's corroded. Nothing looks wet. Nothing's damaged, rusty, anything like that. We're good. Put it back on. Click it back down. It'll wipe over. Cool. So we've checked all that. And that is literally all we have to check. So now, the next thing I'm going to do, because it's nice and easy to get to, and I'm here, we're going to change our air filter. That's the air filter box. Let's get into the air filter. Now, on this car, it's going to be quite easy because it just clips. Some vehicles, you're going to have a screw that screws them down. It just depends on the car. This one, like I said, there's just these little silver clips that come off. And they should be one there, one there, and I think another one there. No. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. So the RAV4 doesn't have one on the... Oh, okay. Sorry, I've never looked at the air filter that much in this one. So there's only one on each side. Now this one, and it's got like a little hinge. It just lifts up and pops out. Now, so that's it. Air filter couldn't be simpler. Pull it out. That's it. That's the whole... Now this air filter is definitely in need of change. Have a look at that. That's black. Your air filter should be nice and white. We'll compare it to the new one. I'll grab the new one, I'll show you. So that's our used one. That's another thing, you should do that anyway. Put your new parts against your old ones, just make sure they're right. So if you look at that, the difference in the colour. This is what your air filter should look like. This is overdue. Cool. So being, if you look, so with this car, as you can see, there's a shape to it. It's got a little square corner and the rest are rounded. When you look at the airbox, there's a spot that it matches. Drop it in. That's it. Same again. Now, we put this back down. Make sure our air filter housing's in the right spot. Everything sits back down properly. Clip. Clip. Done. Air filter's changed. Really easy on this car. Some cars will be a little bit more difficult maybe because you might have to do some screws or something, or you might have to move some components. 90% of vehicles out there, that's all it takes to change your air filter. And even check it. Keep an eye on your air filters. Probably every couple of months, stick your head in, pull it out, have a look. If it's starting to get like this, go, right, I need a new air filter. Don't just wait till your book says it's time to be done. We'll stick our old one in there. Done. Rubbish. That's no good to us anymore. Don't need to be. Now, some people will have a sticker or something that they'll mark on their air filter box to say when they've done their air filter. I don't do that because 90% of the time what I do, especially with my own vehicles, is if I'm servicing the oil every 10,000 Ks, which is what I usually do, every 10,000 Ks I'll do oil and I'll do air filter. So I do them at the same time. So I'll put a sticker on my window or wherever to say that that's when I'm due for the next service, but not so much with that. Now, that's the air filter done. Okay, guys. Under the car. Look here. This is our sump plug that we need to undo to drain the oil. And then if we look just over here on this car, that is where our oil filter is. It's actually in a little housing. This plastic cover comes off, oil filter comes out, and you change the filter over. And yeah, that's what we're going to do next. So hang on and we'll get into it. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this all right. there. If not, I guess you won't see this. But anyway, basically, we are going to undo this nut. No matter what, your sump plug should never be like super tight. It should be tight, but yeah, not to the point of breaking things, shall we say. And yeah, little trick, when you're draining your oil, undo it by your fingers, but if you keep pressure against this bolt, the oil won't drain out until you remove it. So I always try and push against it until I've done all the threads, which I think I have now, and then I'll just push against it, undo it, and then whoop. That way you don't end up with oil everywhere. Keep a rag always handy, obviously. You can wipe it off and a bit off your hands there, and you're all good. Now, one thing you should probably do, you should always do, is while you're draining your oil, just sort of watch it. You're looking for anything coming out that shouldn't be there. Metal, obviously. Hopefully there's no metal coming out of your oil. But yeah, just keep an eye on it. Inspect your sump plug as well. Should be nice and clean. As I said, I'm going to replace this, but it may not be today because I have a feeling they gave me the wrong sump plug. So we'll double check that in a second. The good thing about this car is that the oil filter and the sump plug are in the same spot. Some cars, you drain your oil here and then your oil filter's over here somewhere. So yeah, at least this one, we don't need to move our drain pan anywhere until it's done. It's not a massive engine, so it's not going to have a hell of a lot of oil in it. And the good thing that Toyota's done, that I really like as well, is that the sump plug's on the back side and it's down low. They're always down low, but it's on the back side. So when the front of the car is jacked up, all your oil's going to that side of the car anyway. Yeah, it's about 5 litres in this car. By look at my side of my tub there. These drain pans are cheap. I highly suggest getting one. I mean, I'm sure you can find some other container or whatever to drain it into, but these seem to be the easiest way to go. One thing to be sure of is how much oil your car actually takes when it comes to draining it. Because if your car holds like 10 litres of oil, for instance, and you've got a 5 litre drain pan, you're going to run into some trouble. Okay, once it stops draining, you got no oil left in there, you put your sump plug back in, or your new sump plug. I just checked this one and it's not, the one they sent me is not the right one, so we're just going to go with the old one for now. It should be perfectly fine. Now, I've just done that finger tight. I'm just wiping off any little bit of oil residue. Do it like I said, it's finger tight, as tight as I can. With my fingers first. With most oil plugs in modern vehicles, they're actually magnetic as well. So they will, any metal that flakes off whatever will be on the end of your sump plug. So just move this, slide that out of the way for a second. And we're going to tighten up our sump plug. Ooh, not that way, we're not. Okay, now we've got it the right way. Now we're going to torque it up to a Jared torque. Click. Yes. There probably is a torque spec for that, to be honest. I've never heard of anyone torquing a sump bolt. But hey, if you want to do it, look up the torque spec and go for it. I'm not going to because, yeah, I'm not going to. I've always found that what they call one click of wrist is tight enough. Look, it's one of those things, if it's something you've never done before and you have a torque wrench, look it up and use your torque specs. Not an issue. There's nothing wrong with doing that at all. The only reason I usually don't is I've done oil changes since I was, I don't know, 15, 16 years old. So a good 20 years I've been doing this sort of stuff. And I've got a feel now, I know how tight to do a nut up when it comes to an oil drain plug. if you're the same and you've been doing it, I'm sure you've got the same sort of feel for it. But if it's something you've never done before, by all means, don't hesitate to look up torque specs and do it that way if you want to be precise. Now, the next thing we've got to do is loosen this. Before I put the drain pan under, I need to put it back under, but I just want to get it loose because I don't want it in the way. So I'm using my little tool here. Now let's see if this is even going to work, because these don't always work. So wish me luck. Now, if I worked in a Toyota factory, I'd probably have a special Toyota tool that does this, but I don't. So here we are. Now, the problem is, oh, that slipped. That's not fun. Don't slip. These are always fun, by the way, guys. If you've never done it, it's definitely a learning curve. Just got to try and change position. Do it, these sort of things. I'm not sure who the people were in, oh, hang on, Toyota or wherever, when they designed these, that went, hey, you know what? Let's make it even harder for people to take their oil filters off. You watch this oil come out on my head. And you can all have a good laugh at me. Okay, now I want this drip tray back under it because I don't want to put oil everywhere. It goes. Oh. Goes. Okay, it's our oil filter. Right there. And we're going to leave this tray under there. I'm going to with my rag so I can get to them. This little filter come out of this housing, like that, stay there, and then we're going to go and clean the housing. Let that keep dripping. I will be back in 1 second. Hey, we are back with our new oil filter. Cool, so, rag again, just wipe that dripping oil off. I don't go shoving stuff around on the inside there because you don't want to contaminate, put things in there you don't want in there. Brand new oil filter is mounted in the little covery thing. We just slide that back in. We can get it right and do up our oil filter. Now that came with a new O-ring that I did off camera. I replaced that O-ring because the filter comes with it. Oh, I can move that out of the way so I can get a bit of a better angle here. Oh. Now we're just going to tighten that up as far as I can by hand, and then I'll use the tool when I need to. With older cars, well, other cars that have a spin-on filter, by rights, your filter should only ever be basically hand tight. But 9 times out of 10, they aren't. You don't want to over tighten it. It should just be perfectly tight. Okay, that's all back done up. That's all done back up. While you're under the car, you're under here anyway, have a little visual look around at everything. Make sure you can't see any oil leaks or anything untoward. And I do not see a single drip of oil under this car. This car is a very good car. Yeah, cool. So that's the oil underneath part done. Let's go back up top. Now, so this car, I know it takes 5 litres. That's what I took out of the car. It's a 5 litre drum. you know, whole jug, not rocket science. Keep a rag nearby. Always use a funnel, otherwise you're going to make a mess. Like I said, Magnatech is a quite good oil that I use. The other oil I will use a lot, especially in my SS, which is a high performance car, I use Penrite. Penrite's probably one of the best Australian oils you can get. There are better out there, but value for money and sort of thing, Penrite's my go-to. Or Castrol Magnatech or Castrol Edge. Okay, and simple as pouring it in through the oil hole. As I said, because I know this car takes 5 litres, I've just got to pour my entire jug of oil in. Remember is when you go to check the oil again when you're done, it's going to take a couple minutes for the oil to get all the way down to the sump. And whatever you do, make sure your sump plugged in and your oil filter. I had a friend of mine once forget to put his sump plug in, filled the entire engine with oil, well he thought he did, and the entire new bottle of oil went onto the ground. There we go. One full engine oil. Now what I usually do is I'll have my empty bottle here, the funnel, and you can sort of just go straight in there. That way you don't drip bits of oil everywhere. You'll get 1 or 2 drips, your kit's unavoidable. Keep a rag, wipe it down. No big deal at all. That's full. So one other thing I want to do while I'm here, I've got my oil cap. Just before I stick that on, a bit of degreaser here, there's a bit of filth around there, so I'm just going to clean it off. Not squirting that directly into the engine either, by the way. Oh, look at that. Much cleaner. Again, I know these people had, no one's ever going to see that. Why do you care? But I know. I know it's there. That's why. Give the whole little head area, valve cover, a bit of a wipe down. You know what I mean? As I said, because I know. Beautiful. And we can put our oil cap back on. That's all done. As I said, I can check the oil now with a dipstick, but it's not going to show a correct amount yet. As the vehicle's, it'll still be running through the engine. But I can get an idea. You see, that's about half full already. So it's working its way down beautiful. We will check it again at the very end. Once it's sat for a while, you give it another check and just make sure. Done. That's all done. Okay. So that's all there is to it. We can put this back on. Little valve cover. I said a lot of modern cars have this. It's just a little engine cover. Honestly does nothing. Just makes your engine look a bit prettier. That's it. That's how you change the oil on a car. On a 2015 RAV4 anyway. I'll try and do some more with some different models, different vehicles, what I've managed to get. But at this stage, that's the end of this RAV4. It's all serviced and ready to go and hit the road for another 10,000 Ks. Oh, one other thing I'll do, obviously, is I usually put a little sticker up in the window just to say when it's due for next service. So, yeah. All right, guys. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this one. If you do, leave a comment, like, subscribe, share. The more we spread the page, the bigger it grows, the more of these videos can bring for you guys. Yeah, so hopefully you're all doing okay, and I'll see you on the next one.
We don't have to do it all today, just one project at a time.